Are you trying to settle abroad and feeling a little uneasy because of going against the language barrier, feeling like it's very difficult to make friends, or even down with a dose of homesickness? Feeling at home in a foreign country can take time, but it is definitely worth the effort. I believe that trying to settle in a new country is a mixture of connecting what you're familiar with as well as trying to step out your comfort zone and getting to know the new culture and integrating both of these things so that you can better assimilate quicker into the new place that you're in. There are certainly tips and things that we can do to make the process of settling in abroad easier. And so today I'm going to share some of my tips and personal go-tos on what to do when I move to a new city or country and in cases when I'm feeling a bit out of place. Hello there if you're new, or welcome back to On The Move Studio, where we ponder all things snow travel, life lessons, and also home DIY projects. So without further ado, let's dive into today's topic about the tips on how you can settle in faster and quicker into a new environment. So tip number 1 would be to research and prepare. You have to learn about the culture that you're going to, what some of the customs, what language should they speak in order to make the transition smoother. So understanding how people interact, what is considered, polite and impolite can be very helpful to not get into cultural misunderstandings. Personally, as much as I like to plan and prepare, I also love going to a new place without any expectations, not knowing what to expect, and leaving myself open to any surprises that might come up. It can also be a good thing as we get to experience things they are firsthand without any preconceived ideas, and for me that is a great thing. Tip number 2 is to get a quick feel of how things work in the new place that you're in. Two of the big major things that I love to figure out before I get to a new place or when I'm there would be, number 1, the transport system. How do people get around? What is the bus system like? What is the train system like? And number 2 would be, how do people pay for things? Like, for example, is there like a payment app that people use? Or, normally you will get around fine with contactless payment through your card, or the traditional way would be cash. But some countries, like for example, when I went to China, everyone used the app Alipay, or everything is just very digital. Getting these 2 things out of the way puts my mind at very much ease, because apart from that and accommodation, that is all you need to pretty much figure out the rest of the things easily. Number 3 on the list. So the third thing for me would be to get a feel of the money and currency. You travel from one country to another, the currency might be different and your understanding of how much things cost might change. Being able to get a quick sense of how much things cost in the new place allows me to spend within my means and also not add financial stress to the whole other process of figuring other things out. So everything that we just talked about above are more of the practical things that you can do, like the logistics and planning part of things. And the next few things that I'm gonna share is more about, creating space for you to have the time and the leeway to get used to things. So tip number 4 is about creating a comfortable living space where you can, retreat to at the end of the day, or even in times when you're feeling really out of place, you just want a comfortable place to recharge and rest. That is very important, because having a space that allows you to continue doing your day-to-day things, like working on your laptop, eating, cooking, relaxing, taking respite in, is very important to maintain your basic level of well-being. Then number 5. So there is a reason why people came up with the term comfort food. For me, a very quick and easy way to feel more at home and more settled in would be to cook something that I like to eat at home. Go find a dish that reminds me of me being back at home, or just something that soothes my soul. Like for example, on a rainy day, treat yourself to a bowl of Vietnamese pho or something that is soupy and warm. Number 6. The thing that is unsettling about a big move into a new place could be because of the disruption in your day-to-day routines, and that's why it is very important to still continue or try to continue doing the things that you do when you're at home. For example, it could be maintaining your hobbies and interests. Like for example, do you go for a run every morning? Do you like to dance, or do you like to read a book at night before you go to bed? So the point is about trying to maintain a level of normalcy as you would when you were back home. So that would allow you to stay connected to things you would normally do and stay connected to all these small little acts of things that make you feel a bit more comfortable. So tip number 7 would be to try to connect with other people, and this is somewhat related to tip number 6. You try to do the things that you usually do at home. For example, go out for a run or go for dance classes that exposes you to the local community or even other international people. Humans ultimately need the companion and friendship of other people, and try to put yourself out there where you can meet others. Don't force it if you're not feeling comfortable, but when you're ready, try to step out of your comfort zone. Just say hi, smile, or even if you don't interact much, having contact with other people out there can be comforting. Tip number 8 would be try to get to know the place as much as you can. Go and explore, go visit all the popular places that people recommend. Go for long walks, explore your own neighborhood. So like I said before, getting used to a new place is a combination of, combining what you're used to as well as getting to know the new culture. Get out there, find the best coffee place, the cafe that you like, what's a good restaurant to eat at, and go do all of those stuff. Tip number 9 would be don't feel the pressure to be exploring all the time. I know this might sound contradictory to tip number 8, but try to accept and get used to the fact that you can just relax and wind down even if you are in a foreign country, especially if you're doing this long term. Don't feel guilty about just wanting to stay home, to stay in your room like I am doing right now. If that is what you need at the moment, then so be it. What's more, understanding that especially if you're doing this in the spirit of slow traveling, understand that it is not all about playing and being tourists in a way. It is about integrating and moving your entire life into a new place. So that includes integrating your work life and your rest time and day-to-day stuff, and not feel too bad about not being productive and exploring the new city. Tip number 10 is to be mindful of your overall well-being. So for me, that would mean to eat well, to sleep well, and also just continue staying active and having all these aspects of your life being taken care of is very important as you transit to a new space. I'm sure that apart from just surviving and getting along in our journey of staying abroad and adapting to a new place, we eventually want to thrive. So the next 3 points are things that can help us be more conscious and add value to our process in trying to settle abroad. Number 11 would be set goals and challenges for yourself, because that will give you a purpose and a direction. Understand why in the first place you're in this new environment. Would it be to pursue a new degree? Would it be to find a new job? Or would it just be to want to immerse yourself in a new environment where you can speak like a different language? Go ahead and create like a bucket list or a list of things that you want to do. Number 12, journal and document your own process and your own journey of settling down in a new place. For me, that would look like what I'm doing now, like vlogging, taking videos of things that happen day to day and writing things down in my notebook. That is very important in remembering how far you have come from the start to where you are now. I also like to pen down and remind myself what I'm feeling at a certain point of time when something happens and what was my perspective of that event. That would help as you are trying to learn so that you can better navigate things as they come up in the future. Last but not least, something that is very important would be to be patient with yourself. This is something that I have to remind myself as well. We are always in a rush and feeling like a sense of urgency, like, oh no, I have to adapt to this new culture, I have to adapt to this new place, and oh shit, why am I feeling bad? I should be feeling happy. I think that it is very important to give yourself the space and the time that you need to settle in. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, because ultimately it is a big move that you've just decided to make, and sometimes the best of us forget that. I think ultimately putting ourselves out there and hearing other people's stories or getting to know a new person allows us to realize that we are not that different after all. And even if it doesn't feel like it, you have to know that you are making progress, no matter how slow, no matter how small. So be proud of the move that you just made and give yourself the grace and the time. So I wish you luck as you try to find your own space in the new community that you are in. I hope that you will grow to feel more and more like yourself as time passes. So this is all I have to share in this video, and these are my thoughts about how you can more easily settle into a new country, a new city. This is based on my own personal experiences of moving and staying a bit longer term in 3 countries in the past year, and also being on the move frequently. I would like to hear if there's any particular topics you would like me to talk about or anything that you're curious about, so do comment them if you have any, and if not, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.